Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn is not cooperating with the Senate Intelligence Committee's investigation into Russian election interference, Chairman Richard Burr, R-N.C., said Thursday. Burr initially said Flynn was not complying with a subpoena issued by the committee before quickly walking back his remarks to reporters. While Flynn is not cooperating so far, Burr said, he hasn't gotten a definitive answer from Flynn's lawyers. I may have been premature, Burr said. There may be a day or two left. Flynn's lawyers did not immediately respond to a request for comment or confirmation. The demand is for documents related to the committee's investigation into Russian interference in the presidential election. Flynn, the former National Security Advisor who was fired in February for misleading Vice President Pence and other White House officials about the contents of a December phone call with Russian Ambassador Sergey Kislyak, has been under scrutiny for accepting payments from Russia and Turkey and allegedly misleading the government about them. Flynn had previously offered to testify before the Senate and House Intelligence Committees, which are both investigating Russian interference in the election, in exchange for immunity, but it does not appear that either committee has accepted the offer. In April, the committee sent a series of requests to several former President Trump associates asking for records on any dealings with Russia, a request Flynn's lawyers declined to cooperate with through counsel, sparking the subpoena. Trump's former foreign policy advisor, Carter Page, informal advisor Roger Stone and former campaign chairman Paul Manafort were also asked to provide documents. As of last week, the committee had received 2 responses, according to Burr. One of these, Page, is publicly known. Burr declined to reveal the second. The letters asked for the men to list any meetings they might have had with Russian officials between June 16, 2015, the day Trump formally launched his presidential campaign, and Trump's inauguration on January 20, as well as records of any communications during that period. The senators also want details on any financial assets or real estate holding tied to Russia and a broader list of meetings between any Trump campaign aides and Russians. In December 2015, Flynn was paid $45,000 to speak at an event hosted in Moscow by the Kremlin-backed network RT, during which he was seated with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He also received payments for additional speeches to Russian firms Kaspersky and Volga-Dnepr. As a retired military officer, Flynn is prohibited under the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution from accepting payment from a foreign government without advance permission from both the Secretary of State and the Secretary of the Army. According to documents released by House Oversight Committee Ranking Member Elijah Cummings, DMD, Flynn did not disclose the RT payment when he applied to renew his security clearance in January 2016, just a month after he traveled to Moscow. Flynn's lawyers have claimed that he briefed the Defense Intelligence Agency extensively both before and after the 2015 trip. Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Richard Burr said Thursday that former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn is not cooperating with his panel's investigation into Russia's meddling in the 2016 presidential election. But the North Carolina Republican said he does not have a definitive answer yet on whether Flynn is complying with a subpoena issued to him last week for documents related to his contacts with Russian officials. Earlier Thursday, the Associated Press reported, based on comments from Burr, that Flynn had informed the panel he would not honor the subpoena. But Burr later said his comments may have been premature and that there may be a day or two left until the deadline to respond to the subpoena. We have not gotten the definitive answer, Burr clarified. Michael Flynn has not cooperated with the committee up to this point. Asked whether he would recommend a contempt of Congress vote if Flynn fails to comply, Burr responded, "I'm not going to go into what we might or might not do. We've got a full basket of things that we're willing to test." Flynn's lawyer, Robert Kellner, declined to comment when asked last week whether Flynn would comply with the subpoena. Kellner did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Thursday. If Flynn refuses to comply, Congress could vote to hold him in contempt and refer his case to the Justice Department for criminal charges or to Federal District Court for civil enforcement. But these routes are long and complicated, and there's no guarantee they would succeed. Ousted National Security Advisor Michael Flynn will not honor a subpoena issued by a Senate committee looking into Russia's meddling in the 2016 presidential election, the panel's chairman said Thursday. Republican Senator Richard Burr of North Carolina told reporters that Flynn's lawyer has informed the panel he will not abide by a subpoena for private documents. The decision comes as no surprise, legal experts say, given that Flynn would be waiving his constitutional protection against self-incrimination by turning over personal documents to the committee. Flynn, though his lawyer, had earlier asked for immunity from unfair prosecution in exchange for agreeing to cooperate with the committee. "We'll figure out on General Flynn what the next step if any is," Burr said. The Senate committee is one of several on Capitol Hill investigating possible collusion between Russia and President Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. Flynn is also the target of other congressional investigations as well as an ongoing FBI counterintelligence probe and a grand jury inquiry. Flynn was fired from his position as Trump's national security advisor in February. At the time, Trump said he fired Flynn because he misled senior administration officials, including the vice president, about his contacts with Russian officials. Nina Ginsburg, a veteran Washington defense attorney with extensive experience in national security cases, said that without an ironclad immunity deal from the committee, Flynn would have been exposed to questioning from investigators about any personal documents he gave up. Providing those records to the committee would provide authorities with a lot more information and the legal basis for questioning him about them, she said. The Senate committee is one of several on Capitol Hill investigating possible collusion between Russia and President Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. Meanwhile, the House Intelligence Committee is asking for more government documents, this time about the ouster of FBI Director Jim Comey and conversations he had with President Donald Trump about investigations into Russian meddling in the election. The committee said Thursday it sent a letter requesting material from the FBI and Justice Department related to its ongoing counterintelligence investigation. Texas Republican Mike Conaway and California Democrat Adam Schiff say they will continue to work with the FBI as the investigation moves forward. Ousted National Security Advisor Michael Flynn may not cooperate with the U.S. Senate's investigation into reputed Russian electoral interference, a top congressional Republican said Thursday. Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Richard Burr told news media late Thursday morning that Flynn's attorneys told him the former advisor won't obey a subpoena to cooperate as part of the panel's Russia probe. Flynn, among others, is a primary focus of 3 simultaneous U.S. investigations into the matter. Flynn's lawyers said he would not honor the subpoena, and that's not a surprise to the committee, the North Carolina senator and chair of the committee said. But we will figure out on General Flynn what the next step, if any, is. The former top national security advisor to the Trump White House was forced out of the position in February after it became known that he did not disclose contact he had with Russian diplomat Sergey Kislyak to Vice President Mike Pence. Since his ouster, Flynn has been one of the central figures in the case addressing potential collusion between the Kremlin and President Donald Trump's campaign. Burr noted later Thursday, though, that it's possible Flynn has not yet definitively decided whether he will comply with the subpoena or not. We are continuing on with a lot of interviews, and through those interviews it leads us to additional document requests and additional individuals we'd like to talk to, Burr said.